Hi everybody, welcome. Today we're super excited because we're going to be talking about Crape Myrtles and how you can use them in your yard. I'm here with my baby sister Bonnie, and we're going to go over all different types and ways that you can incorporate them. So, are you ready to dig in?
Let's grow.
Let's grow. We're supposed to say, sure am, but I still
don't
love
know.
her.
I don't know that information. You don't say.
The crepe myrtle goes by the botanical name Lagerstroemia indica, and there are other similar crepe myrtles like the Lagerstroemia speciosa, which you can see me hamming it up here. The queen crepe myrtle is a bigger cousin to the crepe myrtle. She has much bigger leaves, more of a southern crepe myrtle. She does best in protected 9B to 11, but she gets quite big. She can get 40 to 50 feet across by 30 feet wide, and she's semi-deciduous. She'll hold on to some of her leaves during the wintertime. I've done a video on the queen crepe myrtle, so if you're interested, go check it out on our channel. There's also the Japanese crepe myrtle, which goes by the botanical name Lagerstroemia subcostata variety Varieties, and the Natchez is shown here, just a beautiful white crepe myrtle. We actually did our intro with the Natchez in the background. Today our focus is going to be on the crepe myrtle and the Japanese crepe myrtle. But before we go into talking about all the different beautiful colors available, let's talk a little bit about design. It's important to have a garden design so that you know that your tree will do well in the space that you have available. Look to use them as focal points, or you can actually use them to frame a space because they have a medium-sized stature, most of them. They form wonderful plants for homes up to 2 or 3 story. But another important thing about design is to know your species type, because some get larger and some are shrub type. And you really need to know how you're going to plan out your garden space, because you could get a tree that could be a little bit too big for your space, or it could be a little bit too small. There are some shrub varieties, and I'll go into those today. Here I'm showing you a streetscape example of how far you should set them away from a building or home. You want to make sure that you set them far enough away from the side of your home that they're not going to scrape the siding or the roof line. A good distance is somewhere between 10 and 12 for the larger tree types, but it will vary depending on the species you choose. Now I just want to touch base on a few other features about the wonderful crepe myrtle. They have spectacular camouflage bark. It's stunning. It's like the rainbow gum in a sense. And also the bridal veil tree, they have this type of appealing bark, which is just spectacular. And another thing that I absolutely love about the crepe myrtle is that she's a big bee attractor. We need to plant more trees that bring in pollinators, and this is a great bee attractor, as well as songbirds like the cardinal. They love to eat the seeds. So planting this tree not only brings beauty, but it also brings wildlife to your garden. We'll be going over quite a few varieties today for you. I'm not going to touch on all of them because there are just too many, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are and which ones you like, so please leave us a comment below. Love to know what your thoughts are. Now, without further ado, I'm going to show you a bunch of different types of crepe myrtles, and I'll also be adding some overlays that talk about the basic care needs such as lighting, soil, and watering. It's pretty similar for all the crepes that you have, but you do need to know your soil type for the region you're in, so you can amend the soil type if needed for the crepe myrtle that you get. Now we're going to go on and look at all these wonderful varieties, and I'll jump in here and there with some additional overlays and some comments to help guide you in selecting the right crepe myrtle for yourself. All right, let's grow. Here's a great example of using crepe myrtles to frame a space. You can see the flowering white natchez here with the shade trees behind them. It just really helps define a space. On spacing for the dwarf varieties like the Pocomoke here, you want to put them about 4 feet apart on a triangular spacing, as you can see here. This spacing gives your dwarf crepe room to grow in, and it's a good rule of thumb when planting the dwarf varieties. Here's some more pro tips for you. Crepes are great for wayfinding, buffers, and screens. They're also great as focal points, and you got to make sure you look to do some nighttime lighting with them. They can create these dramatic effects.
Thank you for joining us. Did you have a good time?
Absolutely.
If you have any thoughts or questions, just leave them down below. We'll make sure we get back to you. And until the next video, bye.
Bye.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And tell your friends and family. We post videos weekly. Thanks.